Probably like 20, 30 minutes. I don't have much time today. At least till later. I'm gonna stream again later. But yeah, I figured I'd just kill the time. I don't feel like making videos, so we'll just do this. I have a few videos stored up and like a bunch of ideas. I'm just like unmotivated right now. But yeah, well, see how it goes. And then after I'm done streaming, I'll post the video for today. The video for today is on one of my new favorite books, Metamorphosis. Very interesting book. Um, I don't know. I can tell like the more I read of Kafka, the more I'm really gonna like him. The more I'm going to be really interested in his ideas. Um, it's cool to explore new ideas. It's cool to explore new thinkers, new minds, and like really figure out what they're about. Yeah, these things are weird because I don't think for the first few minutes anyway gets the notifications. Um, yeah, we'll wait for people to join. Okay. Yeah, hopefully some people join soon. Um, I think these are gonna be a fun thing to start doing. Me just sitting in front of my bookshelf, giving out book ideas. It's just something that I don't know. I feel like me suggesting a new book every single day can kind of get overwhelming, and like I'd rather like if you don't know where to start, just ask me. Like that's the easiest way to do it, and I think this is the easiest format to you know put that idea forward. I don't know what that means. My bad. How's everyone doing? See a few people just joined. Um, yeah, we're just chilling right now, hanging out, giving book suggestions. You're Turkish? That's well. I could have, I could have guessed. I knew it was somewhere from that part of the world. How's everything with you? What's up? How's everything with you? Hope all is well. I don't understand you, as long as you're still hanging out, I don't mind. It's cool to have people here. But yeah, what do you guys want to talk about? What do you guys want to learn about? Give me things that you're interested in, and we can give you recommendations. What is your name? It's on the channel. It's Bino. Yeah, give me like a general area what you're interested in, what you want to learn about, and I'll give you um a good book. I'm excited. I got a bunch of new books to read. I have this one. I just got this one. Philosophy or psychology. What? Those are like broad subjects. I mean, I'm always gonna say Carl Jung. I'm always gonna say that Jung is my favorite psychologist. Any book by him is really good. Um, if you haven't read anything by him, this is a. I'll see you, bro. If you haven't read anything by Jung, this is a really good place to start. Man in His Symbols. Really interesting, and it's not meant for like the scientific crowd. It's meant for a more general audience, which makes it really like applicable to everybody. Um, and the other one I would say, I don't have it with me. The Undiscovered Self is a good book, and Memories, Dreams, Reflections is good as well. It's his autobiography. All those are kind of like very approachable, and it's gonna give you like more of an overview. And I would start with those just because it's not that the other books are gonna be too hard. It's just I think you learn a lot more understanding all of his ideas before you dive into the nitty gritty details. But those are all those books I just showed are good options. And then let me think philosophy. So I'm trying to think what I like in terms of philosophy. I like more esoteric philosophy. I don't know if that's what you're interested in, but where is it? The Kabbalion's a really good book. This book right here. That's one of my favorite philosophy books. Um, I made Dostoevsky, Notes from the Underground is good. The Myth of Sisyphus is pretty good, this book by Albert Camus. If you want like more ancient philosophy, like Letters from a Stoic, Meditations, they're all pretty good books. Again, it really depends what kind of philosophy, because I think there's two diverging ideas of philosophy. There's the atheist philosophers, the more modern philosophers, and then there's the more ancient philosophers who tried to use philosophy to explain the nature of God. So it really depends on what way you take it. If you take it more the religious side or more the material side. And I don't necessarily really like the materialistic side of philosophy. It's not as interesting to me. There's certainly some good ideas. Like Nietzsche has a few interesting criticisms, but again, I think it's just like a pessimistic worldview that I don't necessarily want to hold myself. But yeah, I hope that gave you a good few books to start reading. But yeah, if you're interested in philosophy and psychology, I think Jung's a really good place to start because he's almost both. He's almost like the best of both worlds. Like Jung is almost the combination of, the entire history of religion, the entire religious symbolism, and putting that in perspective that you can use to analyze yourself. Like you don't even necessarily need to be that into psychology to love Jung, because it's more so the exploration of the mind. Like a lot of philosophy kind of sounds like Jung. If you look at Taoism, it's basically Jung. If you look at Stoicism, it's basically Jung. Like they're all kind of overlapping in that sense. Yeah. Anyone else want me to talk about anything? Any topics? Any suggestions? I like literally have basically every subject over here. At the very least, I can point you in the right direction. So just let me know. But yeah, I'm really just excited to get through today, because after today, I'm gonna have a few days I can set aside and literally just read, and it's gonna be so fun. This is gonna be so cool. Like truly, I can't wait for that. Like, I don't know about you guys, but like, have you ever had those periods where like your life just seems like really fast paced and you just want it to calm down? Like after today, I can say calm down. Like after today, I can say that like a lot of my responsibilities are gonna like go to the back burner. Do self-help books help or not? It depends. I mean, it depends on the book. Depends on how seriously you take yourself. Like self-help books help people that are really, really down and they really want to find a solution, if you really apply the things, of course it's going to help. Um, Again, some of the stuff's basic though. Like Atomic Habits is one of the best selling books of the past 10 years, and it literally just says like start habits off small and build upon them, and then make it easy for you to do good habits and make it hard for you to do bad habits. And it's like that's like most people know that it's like pretty basic information, and that's the thing with self-help books. Like a lot of the information is really basic. It's really just like, can you apply it? So it could help, it could not help. Like a lot of people read self-help books and it doesn't do anything. For me personally, I like to read self-help books just because it gives me new ways to approach problems. So I use, you know, I might not necessarily use every tactic, but at least I absorb the perspective, and that's why I like reading them. But again, I don't really read them anymore. I can learn much more from Nietzsche. I can learn much more from Jung. I can learn much more from, you know, these greater minds than just someone talking about individual success. And again, it really depends on who the author is. Like, there's a few self-help books that I would really say to read, like Think and Grow Rich, must read. David Goggins' book, I love that book so much. Like, maybe it's not super applicable, but like that's just a good book on the, you know, undying human spirit. Like, I think that's just overall, like that's just such an inspirational book. Like, you don't even have to take anything away from it. Just read that for the sake of knowing how far you can go. Yeah, like I'm trying to think of other self-help books. Like, I've never really read any Tony Robbins. I've never really read everything in that subject. Yeah, Jocko's pretty good. Jocko's, it's also like, can you take away something from the person? Because it doesn't matter who the speaker is as long as they inspire you to do more. Like, you could read the Dan Bilzerian autobiography, and if it inspires you to make great changes, then it was a good book. You know what I mean? Like, if it inspires you to do something, it was a good influence on you. Books on existentialism. I'll show you the book I just read. The Metamorphosis by Kafka. This is really good. I don't like existentialism, but I like this. Do you know what absurdism is? Absurdism's pretty similar to existentialism. I like absurdism better. So any book by Albert Camus, this book right here, really, really good book, The Myth of Sisyphus. And then this book right here, The Stranger, really, really good as well. Well, I gotta find my Nietzsche. This is a pretty good book as well, Beyond Good and Evil. That's all I can find off the top of my head, but I think that's a pretty good start. Like, honestly, anything Nietzsche, like, read Beyond Good and Evil, read Thus Spoke Zarathustra. I don't know how to say it. That's a good book. I'm following you just to learn English. By the way, you don't have anything have value. Okay. Read already? You read all of those already? Hold on, I have more then. I have no idea then. I mean, there's not really that many existentialists that I really put much credit. I guess you could consider Dostoevsky a little bit existentialist. The Trial as well. I mean, really anything Nietzsche, really anything Schopenhauer an existentialist? Maybe he's in that category. I'm trying to think. But yeah, the ones searching for something new. Let me think. I definitely have. Let's look at my Amazon. I definitely have something I was planning on reading. It's more that category. Read Sophocles. I guess I don't have anything in here. Yeah, I don't know. The thing about existentialism is I don't particularly like it. Like, it's just not Um, it's interesting, don't get me wrong, but it's like you hear one existentialist, you've heard them all. That's what it seems like to me. There's not really any new points. Read all that you showed. What do you mean? All the ones I showed are right here. Absurdism. All right, I'll flip my camera. Hold on, I gotta make the books look nice. So these were all the ones I showed. Myth of Sisyphus, Beyond Good and Evil, The Stranger, The Metamorphosis. To be or not to be, that is the question. I don't organize my books, I really should. Because then I feel like I'd be able to answer these things easier. What are you gonna do? What do you mean, what am I gonna do? You read No Longer Human? No, what's that about? My books are in stacks all over. Yeah, I have a bookshelf, but I might have to get another one soon because I have so many books. Thanks. Glad you like my bookshelf. Samba Dies. No, I don't know who that is. I'm slowly working my way through like all the belief systems. Um, Most of what I study is like esoteric stuff. Um, I just started getting more and more into philosophy recently. Like I can start to stomach it a little bit more. But again, it's not like it's very hard for me to be inspired by someone that doesn't have a deeper sense of faith, if that makes sense. Like just their ideals seem like limited to me. Whereas like people that are not even necessarily religious, they just believe in something deeper than themselves. I think it's just more inspirational to hear them like, talk about things. Like when I read Emerson, I'm like, I think I can run through a brick wall. Like Emerson's one of my favorite authors. That's the one I really need to read more of. But yeah. What's up, Michael? Did I say it right? Or is it? Are you human? Yes, I'm human. Do I not look human? You trying to tell me something? I started reading in English. What are you recommending for me? What do you want to read about? Again, it depends on the subject. Like, what are you interested in? Because I think it's always best to read things that you're interested in. Like, if you're not interested in it, then you're more likely to put it down. Whereas if you're like can't put the book down, that's what I want to have people start reading. I mean, that's like the whole point of like I think like the school system is like such a disservice to people. Novels, what kind of novels? Like you can't. It's a very broad category. I'll give you a few of my favorite books. Um, one of this is a book that I think absolutely everybody loves. I've never seen anybody dislike this book, The Alchemist. This is like one of the best books I've ever read. I'll give you two more novels to read. Or they're not novels, but they're just books. The Book of Mere Dad, really, really good book. This is like my favorite book ever written. The Prophet, also a tremendous book. You can't go wrong with any of the three books I just mentioned. Another one of my favorite, it's more of a short story, it's not really a novel, but Metamorphosis by Kafka, really, really good book. If you read any of those, I would find it very unlikely that you would dislike any of those books. I kind of just mentioned like classics those though. Bell jar. Oh, I feel like I've read that. What is that? What's it about? No, I've not read it. Why do I know this name though? Book is often regarded. No, I've never read this. I know the name for some reason though. I have no idea why. I look nervous? Damn. Thanks, I guess. I don't know what to say. What's up, John? Yeah, you good, man? Is the bell jar, is that something I should read? Frankenstein? Yeah, I've read that. It's a good book. I think it's read any books on American history? Um Not directly, but I study law, so I know um I read a lot about the Constitution. So I think I have a book over here that you'll like. You ready? The Federalist Papers. If you haven't read these, this is basically the foundation of the ideas for the Declaration of Independence as well as the Constitution. It talks about republicanism and why a republic is a better form of government for better form of government than democracy, and basically the founding principles and why they're put there. I think that'd be something that you'd be interested in. And then, hold on, let me find it. There's another book you'd like. So if you are really interested in the founding fathers, you'll love this book, Cicero Selected Works. It's basically like the foundations of who Cicero was, and Cicero is really the entire explanation for why there was the Renaissance. He inspired basically John Locke. He inspired basically every founding father, and you'll see a lot of the reasons why the founding fathers were willing to die for what they believed in. They were willing to die for a republican form of government. You know, why they were willing to put their lives at stake for the idea of no taxation without representation. We Who Wrestle with God. No, I've never read that. Read your favorite one. Book about learning how to learn. Learn about what? I think it's really just I don't really think you need a book for that. Like, if you want to know how to learn, just apply yourself. Like, find something, that you're interested in, and then start studying that, and then learn how to take that same energy into everything. I think that's more important than reading a book on it. I don't have any books about learning how to learn because if I'm interested in a subject, I'll buy a book on it. If I'm interested in learning something, I'll go look it up. I don't say, oh, I can't learn about this because I'm not in school for this. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Yeah, it's a pretty good book for Wuthering Heights, Pride and Prejudice. Never read those. Not the kind of stuff I read. Yeah, no, and what Hypnodio said is a good book. How to Win Friends and Influence People might be what you're looking for, because that's really on how to deal with people, on how to communicate, on how to ask questions. I really just think exposing yourself to different ideas that you haven't, approached before. I mean, this entire week I've been studying economics and I don't even care about business. You know what I mean? It's just exposing yourself to different perspectives and different ideas is going to be the biggest thing for your growth, because when you can see something from the other person's perspective, that's the biggest way you can interpret things. That's the biggest thing you can take away from every situation. So I think really just understanding that and understanding the perspectives and how these perspectives either, come together or, come together in conflict, like that's probably the best thing to. Try steal manning ideas you don't agree with the Feynman method. Teaching others, yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to say that. If you teach others what you're trying to learn, that's the best way to do it, because this was Seneca's idea. Seneca said that while you're teaching someone, you're both a teacher and a student, because you're actively teaching someone, but you're actively learning on how to dumb down the idea, to teach it to someone who has not been exposed to this idea already. And that itself is a learning lesson. That itself, gives you a deeper understanding of it. Because think, if you barely understand it, how can you teach it? But the more you can, dumb it down, for lack of a better word, the more you can say, that you actually know it. Books would you suggest to an English major? I don't. What is it? What do you mean, like English major? Like, what are you going for? Like being a teacher? What do you like? What's the idea behind it? Because I think that would direct the suggestion I make. I mean, really, like I would just say like reading the classics, like reading Seneca, reading discourses, reading Plato or Aristotle, or more of the older ideals, because you kind of see how they come to the present. Avid reader. This is okay. I'll just say that I don't know if you read this book. Not many people have. This is the best book I've ever read. This is the best book ever written. The Book of Your Dad. You don't even have to be religious per se, but the wisdom is so deep in this book, and it does not read like a book that was written by an individual. It reads like I don't know. It reads like one of those fairy tales that's been passed down for generations. Like there's just so much depth in it, and to think that this book was written like 80 years ago, you're just like, some people have talent that I can't even begin to explain, even begin to fathom, and you're like truly, I think that was this guy's first book, and it was his only masterpiece. Same thing with The Prophet. This book you might have read because it's more popular. It's really short, but again, the wisdom in this is tremendous. I like pseudo religious things, like not necessarily like strict doctrine things, but more of the expressive element of religion, because I think that's the beauty in it. Like, I mean, people think of Islam as like a strict religion, but if you know anything about the Sufis, it's more so about love and how love expresses itself in every living being. And I think that's a beautiful idea, and they might express love better than any of the other religions. So it's like, I think we can learn a lot from every single religion, and I think that there's a lot of good ideas with it, and we see the bad that comes from these institutions. We see the bad that comes from these, collectives that, kind of misuse the teachings for their own benefit, for their own material gain. And it's really sad, because I mean, I used to be someone that like doubted faith. I used to be someone that doubted these things, and I used to be someone that was like, how could God make bad things in this world? And it's like, it really comes down to the individual, and it's more of a personal experience than it is a collective one. This is another good book too, Master of Love. Have you read The Four Agreements? It's written by the same author as this. That's a really good book too. That's Toltec philosophy. It's like Mayan philosophy, or Aztec. I can't remember. They were like a subset of whatever. Carl Jung is a Swiss psychologist. Hold on. One of my books might have a picture of him. Yeah. This is Carl Jung. It's really pronounced Jung like that. I don't necessarily say it like that because I sound like pretentious saying it, and people aren't gonna know it either way. So I just say Jung. But he's one of the best. He's truly one of the best one of the best minds who ever lived. His books are truly inspiring. There'll be times where you're reading his books and you get upon a section and you're like, my entire life makes sense now. Like that's how insightful his ideas are, and his entire basic philosophy. Um, is this book, Memories, Dreams, Reflections. This is a good book to start with from Jung. Um, where is it? Man and His Symbols is another good book too. This one pretty good. The two books I just showed you, they're not meant for a scientific audience. They're meant for a more layman's perspective, more everyday person's perspective, and they're meant to explore his ideas in a simple manner. And they'll give you a really good overview of his ideas. I really like those two books. The Undiscovered Self is also a good one. I don't have my copy here because it was like a really tiny book, and I left it in my car over the summer, and it melted, and like all the pages fell out. So like it's just shoved somewhere on the bookshelf, so it doesn't look like I ruined it. But that's a really good book as well. What do I have here? I have his red book. I have Psychology and Alchemy. I have Psychology, the Unconscious. I think I have a few more of his, but anything by Jung is really good. And his basic idea is that um, when we dream, it's basically a subconscious message to us that we're neglecting something. So like there's always an interpretation from your dream. There's always something you can learn from it, and it's basically your mind telling you that you have to address something. And it's really interesting to see his dream analysis because it's a lot different than Freud's. Freud was everything sexual, and if you couldn't explain the sexual element to it, it was psychosexual. And basically, it's just like it's just weird. It's just weird. Like Freud wasn't willing to ditch this psychosexual theory, so like I feel like his theories were very limited in that sense. But yeah, I hope it's 2 o'clock. I'm gonna stream again later. I was just gonna do a quick one of these today. Thank you guys for that. Thank you for everyone that joined. Thank you for everyone that was asking questions. I feel like this will be a good thing to start doing more and more because it's just so fun. It's so easy. But yeah, I'll catch you guys later.